What is the best compliment you've ever received? 2 compliments. One from my mom, who wasn't a very good mom. She was observing me interacting with my son and said, "You're a really good mom. You didn't learn it from me, and are doing better than I ever did." She never gives compliments. The other from my husband's grandma. She was the most amazing person I ever met. Accepted me from the beginning, treated me more like family than my own family ever did. One Christmas, she gave me the ugliest necklace. It is gaudy, and definitely not something I would ever wear. She had a letter with it. The letter said that she knows it isn't my style, but that she got me the necklace because it was a replica of a Princess Diana necklace, and that she wanted me to know that I was her princess and always would be. No one ever called me a princess. I was the only one who got any sort of letter like that. I still cry about losing her, 12 years later. It breaks my heart that she and my son never got to meet each other. They would have loved each other so much. Editing to add, firstly, thank you for the silver. And secondly, you guys. Seeing that this comment, that I thought about not making and really feel I didn't do justice to the impact she made on me, seeing it affect you. It truly means so much to me. Even though she didn't get to meet any of you, I guarantee she would be proud of you. Another edit, Platinum? Thank you so much, I was seriously not expecting this outpouring of warm and fuzzies. It has made me cry, from seeing the kindness of everyone, and just thinking of her. Thank you again. Now I need to figure out what it is, haha. Ah, that's beautiful. Your husband's grandma sounds like she was an incredible woman. I'm lucky to make out with such a handsome man. Seriously, this was 4 years ago. If you're a woman and you want to get a man to like you, make him a compliment. Men never get compliments, so he'll likely remember it forever. One of the best compliments I ever got was someone who said I had a beautiful smile, then sort of stroked my face and said keep smiling. I saw her by chance a few weeks later and she got really happy saying she was glad I remembered her and asked me for drinks. Then she ghosted me. I'll remember it forever. I tell my husband all the time how beautiful he is. 2 hearts in 4 months, we will have been married 4 years. Being told that I'm the only kid who behaves in class. And that's how I got bullied and also wasted my life. Welcome to my TED Talk. I don't understand why teachers do this. They mean it as a compliment, but personally, I never took it as such. Some girl started a trend at my school of telling me, specifically me, the very average looking guy, that I was super THICC or stuff like that about my ass. I get so many ass compliments now I just don't acknowledge them. Captain America wants to know your location. D. Do you have a nice butt? If so, one day you should just slip on a pair of yoga pants, strut into your school, and absolutely rock their worlds. I helped an old lady step down a curb and then she couldn't find her car in the parking lot. Her husband parked it, so I helped her find it and walked her to it, and she said, "Your mother did a good job raising you." My mother passed away when I was young, so when she said that, I got back to my car and I lost it. That is so sweet. Before the football season my senior year of high school, the coaches and seniors gathered for an annual meeting. During this meeting, expectations for the upcoming season are discussed. About halfway through, one of our coaches started talking about leadership. Before I go on, let me give some backstory. This coach is a former NFL star who I look up to and hold in a high regard. He taught me life lessons that I carry with me today. The team I played for was one of the best in the country at the time, and we were fresh off of our best season. I was an undersized bench player who didn't look like your typical football player. I had to fight for respect and earn my spot on the team. Tons of people doubted me, and many of them believed I wouldn't last my first year playing, let alone make it to senior year. I understand football is just a game, but I put my heart and soul into it when very few believed I could. So when my coach began to speak about leadership, we were all expecting a story about his playing days or a metaphor about life. He was very well spoken and respected, so we were listening intently. He said that, throughout his career, there were 2 players that he loved coaching. The first guy he named came as no surprise to anyone. I'll call him LB. LB was a star linebacker that was known for his incredible work ethic and unmatchable heart. When coach got finished with his speech of LB and his leadership, he started to move on to the second player. I was shocked when he said my name, and I honestly had to hold back tears. My coach compared me to LB and other players he believed exemplified leadership. After all of the shit I went through to get to that point, his praise validated everything. I credit that moment and those people as being the reason I have the success I have had. It may not mean a lot to you guys, but it was the best thing I have ever heard. The best compliments are the ones that are completely unexpected. When they're from someone whose opinion and respect you hold in very high regard, well, that makes them priceless. Your humor is wasted on most people. Wow, that's the best worded compliment in this whole thread. It really means a lot more than "you're funny." Nice ass, white boy, thanks terrifying lady on the New York subway. New York subway is a whole different world. Eat ass, suck a dick, and sell drugs. Similarly I got "you sure is cute for a white boy" on the CTA. Too bad I wasn't single at the time, had to politely decline her advances. You're the best dad ever, from my 9-year-old daughter. I was sitting with my mother when my 5-year-old daughter came over screaming about something. I asked her what she was frustrated about and then we talked it out and she walked away happy. My mom then said to me, "Wow, that was some good parenting." Hope you answered with "I learned from the best." Laughing face. Youngsters being frustrated over nothing, that's a classic one. Nice to hear that they stopped once the person realized that illogical line of thinking. That I look like Shrek from Shrek 2 when he goes human. Rugged and jacked? Is this Dacre Montgomery's account? My ex-girlfriend once passed out from an orgasm while we had sex. First I was worried, but after she woke up and said she was fine and it was the longest orgasm she ever had, I was proud. No, I'm still proud. Told with the confidence of a dad joke, I'd be worried. Beaming face with smiling eyes. From my very Catholic ex, it's too tempting to sin around you. DAAAAAAAMN. You're beautiful, from my BF when I was sick, sneezing my head off and being super gross. Something about hearing that when you don't feel so beautiful at that moment. You look happier. The one and only compliment I can remember off the top of my head, I shaved my head bald and a goth chick said, "Nice haircut dude." I just told the music minister at our church that I was pregnant. She was so excited for me and she said, "I'm so happy for the world," made me cry a bit. I am a black man if I were to describe by skin color it'd be milk chocolate. One day me girlfriend said to me I have great skin and deep undertones. We were discussing about makeup and I didn't quite get what she meant by undertones, but damn did it make me smile. I believe the Undertones are a Northern Irish punk band from the 1970s. Hope that helps X. The most meaningful compliment was offered just after a funeral service. The widow of the deceased came to see me at the organ console before proceeding to the cemetery. As I once noted, she said, "I just wanted to thank you for the uplifting music you played for my husband's funeral. It could have been a sad occasion, but instead your music turned it into a celebration of his life." Not long thereafter, a thank you note arrived, along with a substantial check to the church's music fund to pay for a concert, with orchestra, in his memory. P.S. Enjoy your cake day, op. Wow. That compliment from the lady makes me want to hear what you played so bad. That's amazing. Maybe the best musical compliment I've ever received was not on the "you play good" spectrum, but a girl who came up to me after a show and just said, "You put so much positive energy into the room, did you know that? I hope my daughter grows up to be like you." I've been told this by several teachers throughout the years and it always meant a lot to me. Someone I just met told me I was funny. It was the first time I ever got a non-superficial compliment, nice clothes, shoes, etc., and being a very insecure teenager that one really stuck with me. A few years back I met someone I only knew from FB, we had mutual friends, in person. A couple days later she messaged me and told me I was beautiful and so funny in person. It's the funny that got me. Being called funny is the best compliment one can receive. Once in public speaking class one jokingly introduced myself in a speech with, "I like the sound of my own voice," and the professor immediately shot back with, "And so do we." As someone that's struggled with feeling like what I have to say is worth hearing, that really stuck with me. You're breathtaking. A former boss said, "I like that you have a type B personality, but you get type A results." I don't get it. My boss just likes that I have blood type B, in case he ever needs a transfusion. You have really beautiful eyes, from the girl I had a crush on TNX. For all the replies, I really get a laugh out of your comments, and also thank you guys for the upvotes. From the way this is worded and without punctuation, it sounds like the person talking to you had a crush on a girl and you killed that girl and stole her eyeballs. So when she compliments my eyes and how she can stare into them for hours. Always confused me and made my day 'cause I have brown eyes. I put on a long flowered summer dress and then was looking at myself in the mirror when my son, who was 5 years old at the time, said, "Mama, are you a princess?" A ballet costume designer said that I was very handsome. Given that she's around very graceful male dancers who are in excellent shape all the time, it was quite flattering. I'm a good father. My dad using my song as his ringtone. That is the best. But what if I wanted to use your song for my ringtone? Ah. You're right, from my wife 1325 days 6 hours 34 minutes ago. She was probably just telling you to look to your right. Someone recently said my short story reminded them of Kerouac. I just about died and went to heaven. Domino's employee told me the topping combination I choose were the best he'd ever seen. What did you choose? My crush said I look like the Ken doll from Barbie. Could also mean you have no balls. If you didn't try anything with her after that. Me and a friend of mine, who's now doing a residency to become a children's psychiatrist, were in the middle of a hike when he asked me if I wanted to have children. The question came a bit out of the blue, but I responded, yes, I would love to have children. When my friend said, I think you'll be a good father. Till this day it's the best compliment I've ever had and one I will remember the rest of my life. It came somewhat out of the blue and it really struck me in the middle of that hike. You have an unfair advantage with that voice. My mother always told me that we all need a moon and a sun in our lives. My friend ____ is my moon, and I've wondered when I'd find my sun. Then I found you. You're my sun. Edit for context, one of my best friends said this to me when we were out to lunch. Saving this dad joke for when I have kids. My first girlfriend turned into the moon. Few weeks ago I had a chick say, damn you're lookin' fucking fine. It was a person I worked with last year that I haven't seen in a year. I had decent steady gym progress and put on some muscle size and definition, and looks like she noticed eyes. Not really a compliment, but my crush always laughs at my jokes, so at least I know that I'm funny. You are literally a gay man's wet dream. When I hang out with you, I always end up laughing. She liked you. Liked you. A friend told me I have a special power to make strangers immediately like me. I'm always starting conversations with waiters, cashiers, and random people. I just like meeting people and I guess I've gotten good at it. My girlfriend once told me she didn't know she could ever find anyone better. I don't know if it's the best compliment I've ever gotten, but it's up there. Never really been complimented before. Hey man, I was you. When I was your age, I was so lonely and depressed. I didn't understand why no one liked me. I still struggle with making friends, but I have learned to love myself a little more, be a little gentler on myself. Life is tough, really tough. And the world is a cruel place. Other people are hard enough on you, so the best thing you can learn to do is love yourself. I am sorry you are lonely and that things are tough right now. From your post history, you seem to be extremely in touch with your feelings. That is such a good thing. I really, truly hope things get easier for you. If you ever want to talk, I am definitely here. As for a compliment, you're right beautifully. When I read through your limited post history, I can physically feel the emotions you are describing. As painful as they are, it's beautiful to read. Keep expressing yourself, man. You've got this. I know you're going to be okay. Like I said, PM me anytime if you need to talk. I've been where you are and I never want you to feel lonely again. You have a funny username. As an engineering student, we had to turn a chess piece on the lathe. One of the workshop staff was known for picking holes in every piece of work anyone ever produced. If there was a slight error anywhere, he'd find it. I'd just finished the component and this particular staff member happens to be checking it. He very carefully examined and measured it from end to end and then muttered the words, "It's all right," and walked off. Might not sound like much, but coming from him, best compliment ever. Coming from this kind people, it means it's perfect. Well done. Reminds me of my woodshop class. I managed to make a perfectly smooth push stick. Took minute or two to cut out on the band saw and scroll saw and a day or so to sand, going through all the grits. Turns out my teacher tried to break open my locker to show it off to the other tech teachers. This reminds me of my grammar teacher while studying to become an English teacher. We had an exercise where we had to identify grammar mistakes made by pupils, correct them, and explain what was wrong. We disagreed on whether something was a mistake. She claimed it was, I claimed it wasn't, and she actually did research and consulted colleagues only to tell me, a week later, I can't prove you wrong. Sweet victory. It's how Walt Disney's The Man staff knew if he liked something. If he hated it, you'd know quickly, but if he loved it, he would say, yeah, that'll work. A friend once told me it is a pleasure to know me and that I am the type of friend everyone deserves to have. That one meant a lot. Hit me right in the feels. That was a perfect presentation from an executive. I was presenting to a Korean company about America's drug culture. It was mostly about history, like the historical factors that led to the prohibition of alcohol, and was kind of a stealth weed legalization pitch. Well played, sir. You're the strongest person I know, mentally and physically. From a very handsome British guy in his mid-20s at an incredibly conservative US college, you know you're a very good-looking guy. I'm straight, but it put a pep in my step for weeks and I still remember it 14 years later. Those are some of the coolest compliments, I think. Whether they come from straight men or gay men, if another man compliments me, it is wonderful. For any reason, really, whether it be my appearance that day, a smile, a joke, anything at all. Most men are a bit caged by cultural expectations into being reserved. When another man says something complimentary or kind, it is even more striking, to me at least, than hearing it from a woman. Which is also far too rare. Thank you so much. This has been the best birthday I've had in the past 46 years of my life. Plot twist, they were 53. You're a great man, a disabled homeless man's friend after I pushed his friend up a small hill to the corner store. I was told that I have that dad bod going on, which is pretty exciting compared to what I used to have going on. That's a nice face driving through. Lady working at Starbucks drive-through after she hands me my drink. Spouse told me the reason I talk bad pictures is I have a moving face and I don't look ugly IRL like my pictures make me look. This has made me feel better about pretty much every bad pic I take. I'm not ugly, but damn am I ever ugly in pictures most of the time. You're not that ugly. Happy Cake Day, by the way. Your handwriting is so neat that if you'd been born before the invention of the printing press, you would have been in charge of writing books. By far the most creative compliment I've received. If I was in charge, the written language would have perished. Nice piss. I'll need some context for this one. Maybe you should ask her, me, for the answer. She's very smart, my crush from 7th grade English class. I'm sure that made your day per week per month per year. How did you react? Now that I think back on it, I don't think I was ever complimented, at least not in person, by my childhood crush, but I'm sure if did overhear him saying something nice, I would have dissolved into a happy, frothy mess right there in my seat. That my son is a wonderful, kind man and I did an excellent job raising him. Once I made a joke to my mom. She said I had no sense of humor, dry humor. Her nature is very condescending generally. She calls it being honest, factual. My brother-in-law looked at her and said, I love her jokes, they are very smart, and really funny. What makes them even more hilarious is how they go right over most people's heads. It is a compliment I think about a lot. Thanks Kev. You look like you run your daddy's credit card up on the weekends. Night I met my now girlfriend of 2.5 years. Lol, that actually meant a lot to me early in college, even if it was supposed to be a half-serious insult. My dad's been in prison my whole life and my mom's an addict, so of course it gives me a lot of pride when someone assumes I'm a trust fund baby or some shit. Means I'm doing alright, ya know. My best friend was playing guitar and I was singing some of our favorite songs. He stops and says, you really should sing more. You sound great. Best friend is now my partner Heart. I love everything about this. Wow, I love your photographs. Why don't you sell them? A blogger that I worked with. I just like to take pictures on my phone and post them on Instagram. I really appreciated it that she likes them that much. I recently started seeing this girl and we really hit it off. We went on our first date and basically talked, laughed for 6 hours straight. Almost immediately after dropping her off she sent me a text saying how much fun she had, etc. And then added at the end, I feel like you'd even make grocery shopping fun. Which for some reason really sticks with me. My wife is way out of my league. She gets a lot of compliments when we go out and guys always chat her up at bars, so I'm pretty used to it by now. So when we waiting on the subway platform and I hear a very loud DAAAAAAMMMMNNN from behind us, I just think, oh shit, here we go again. I look over and a very short, very gay Asian guy looks me up and down and says to my wife, then girlfriend at the time, girl, your boyfriend is fucking fine. It was a nice change of pace and I was blushing for the rest of the day since that never really happens to me. And you finally understand why your beautiful wife picked you, should you have had any doubts that you were cruising on personality alone. That is adorable. That's so cute. Dang, I want to have that insane man as my friend. I'll kill you last, because that joke was actually pretty funny. I was once told that I'd be the first one killed, to save me all the pain and anguish. I kindly thanked him and phased him completely out of my life. I told a joke and my sister laughed so hard she choked on her water and threw up all over herself. I must be a fucking comedian. So the best compliment you received was someone throwing up on themselves? I like it. Everything about your face is often unproportional, but this makes you even more unique and beautiful. That seems quite the backhanded compliment. Someone recently told me that I have the power to move people. To make them feel special and as though they can move the world. Well, damn. That came out of nowhere and made me feel so freaking high. My boss used to tell me that I had the power to move people. I worked for a moving company. You'd be really cool if it weren't for your personality. After I broke up with my first boyfriend, I was 13 and we were dating for about an hour. Forget the pretty girls, you're much more fun. In bed with a guy after we'd had sex for the first time. These are compliments? The first one is just mean and the second one sounds like a backhanded compliment if nothing else. You got a very nice cock. As an awkward person, I would probably answer thanks, you too. You got a very nice cock. Okay. No really, out of the many thousands I've seen up close, this one has to in the top 20, top 50 for sure. Okay now, sorry if my hands are cold but could you cough deeply for me? Sure doctor, cough cough. Thanks, I got it on my birthday. Thanks Gran.